question of the day. We talk a lot about the distillation process when it comes to gaming, right? I talked with Glenn Drover about this, the idea of taking Railroad Rivals or taking Age of Steam and distilling it down into this much smaller product that still has a lot of the same flavor, aroma of the original, right? So what is necessary? What is the true essence of a game when it comes to the distillation process, which is why I bring up today Cosmic Encounter Duel. This is Cosmic Encounter distilled down into a two-player kind of duel game. Now the question is, what is the essence of Cosmic Encounter? Is it those moments of, I'm going to fight you, you're going to fight me, and boom, card, and take that? Or is it the negotiation process, which we're going to talk about? Right now, here is how you play Cosmic Encounter Duel. We're going to come back up and mull all of these questions over right now.
Alright, so here's Cosmic Encounter Duel, a little bit in media res here. This is middle of a game, but I'm playing as the spy. So basically you get a bunch of new alien cards to be that weren't in the original games. There's quite a few of these to choose from here. There's a ton to choose from, all different ones. The Swarm, they all have special powers, just like the original Tactician, the Uber Reserve, Ubiquitous, Underdogs. There's a bunch of these. I like that, Unseen. They all do certain things during a duel or during a contest. They all give you certain powers. Now, if you're wondering where the old aliens are from the original Cosmic Encounter, they are in the form of what's called an envoy. And if you've seen the cover to the 3rd edition box, well, there you go. That's it, but the art's just done a little bit differently. So the aliens from the old games are in what these envoy or ally cards are. And basically, there's a bunch of them. There's Void and Calculator, some of everybody's favorites, the Mirror, the Deuce, the Antimatter. A lot of them are here. And what you do is you can ally with these and get their power temporarily, because someone can take that power from you technically. So just wanted to show you kind of how that works. Now the game itself works very similarly to the old one. I mean, you have a warp here. Now granted, you only have 2 colors, and by gosh, for some reason they're Florida colors instead of I mean, you could have done crimson and white. You could have done anything else, but by gosh, I have to look at Auburn and Florida colors sitting on my table all the time, and it hurts my soul. But I do like the clear plastic, I will say that. But what's going to happen is you have 3 Destiny type cards over here as opposed to just 1. So you have these events, refreshes, and discoveries, and they're typically going to play back to back to back, because at the bottom it tells you what card to play next. So let's flip up the first one here. This discovery card, it'll say discover a new planet and have a duel there. Well, you have a stack of different planets, and also what I love, the planetary art is just really great. All these planets are different. That one is totally World 7 from Mario 3. The Ice Cube planet, that's fun. Just a lot of really silly things, like that's cereal and milk, I'm pretty sure. That one's just got a giant building on it, like foundation, I suppose. Cotton candy, or something. And then just fun little things, like the art's cute, and there's one over here that's a turtle floating the flat planet on top of it with the Arctic ring, or Antarctic ring. You know, kind of like ours. I'm just kidding. But here's the deal. You're going to flip over one of these planets, and then you will have a duel there. And there are 2 types of kind of fight things that are going to happen in this game. There are duels and contests. So a duel will work in a certain order. And I'm actually going to go through the back of the order here on the rulebook just so you can see it. But first of all, you're going to set your dials. That's right. Fantasy Flight game, it does have a dial. And that dial involves how many ships you can send. So you're going to secretly do this. So in a normal Cosmic Encounter game, you would say, hey, does anybody want to ally with me? Would you like to send ships to help me? I'm going to send 4. Now you secretly select up to 4. Now certain powers will give you the ability to do more. You'll set that dial, turn it down here. You'll both flip up and say, okay, well, I'm sending 4 ships to this fight. Well, the difference is, as opposed to just saying, you know, normally that's 4 to my power, you only get what's called the ship's advantage if you have the most ships there. And that number will change from the overall clout depending on how many ships are left. Because what you're going to do then is you're going to take one of the cards. Now you have your own deck here of orange cards and yellow and blue cards. You're going to play one of your tactics card, plan cards here. So you'll pick a card just like normal. It's 10 is my number. You're also going to pick one of these tactics here. Now these are pretty neat. They're double-sided. So this one will destroy 3 of their ships. If you play it this way though, it'll defend 3 of your ships. And ideally what happens is, you're going to flip these tactics around, and you're going to flip the playing card around. Now, once the ships are killed effectively, so let's just say it's 4-on-4 and blue forgets to defend and they only have one ship left, the balance of power will now shift into the player who has more ships there. So they have the ship advantage, which means they have a 10 plus 10, and then if you have reinforcement cards, things like this, which is plus 9, can be played as a plus 9 as a plan too. This can be played as a 9 as a plan, or it can be played as a reinforcement card. So you have these options to add to that number, and then the person at the end who has ships still there, or the person at the end wins the battle. Now, granted, both people can still have ships there, and both people can claim the planets. One of the ways to win is both of you to have 5 planets, just like in the original. But both people can claim that planet if they both have ships there. It's a little bit different. Now, one of the other ways to lose is if you notice I've got a bunch of ships in the warp, and let's just say something requires me to send more ships out, and I don't have ships over here in my supply, well, that's one of the ways to lose the game. Now, granted, there's someone who has a power that allows that to be flopped, where if you don't have ships over here to send, you win the game. But the others are going to be these refresh here. This is basically how you get resources. Notice at the bottom of each planet they have a symbol, that little green Space Invader looking thing. We'll go over here and check the chart. This one means that you will gain, or the opponent readies one of your tactics. Opponent's ready one of your tactics. So once you've spent these tactics, they go face up, laying down, until you say, I'm going to refresh this. Now, normally you can do it using this symbol, but that allows you to do it. The other ones would be gain resource cards, draw 3 cards. Over here you have, these are typically what's a contest, and a contest is just a quick battle for a quick reward. The straggler is this cute little kitty cat on a pole here. It's not some sort of alien, but it's really well done the way it flips and flops and flies there, kind of like an AEW match, but it swings. It's cute. But anyway, the straggler is the person who's behind technically in the match, and the person who's behind gets certain added benefits when it comes to tying, but the leader also gains certain added benefits because the leader will have the ability to play cards first and play reinforcement cards first and all such as that. So you don't have to, there's just certain perks of being either one. But anyway, that is essentially how you play Cosmic Encounter Duel. It's pretty much a streamlined version made just for 2 players. So what you lose in communication, you pick up in strategies and different tactics. There's a lot more fighty, but it's, still has the elements there of Cosmic Encounter.
So that's it. Pretty straightforward. I mean, you are flipping the card up, doing what it says, following to the next card, doing what that says, getting the rewards if you have any yet, and then you're going to follow it up, get the last card, do its actions, do its rewards, So you're going to fight, you're going to flip a planet, you're going to send ships, you're going to have the advantage. Whoever still has ships there at the end of that is going to claim that planet, and you're going to win. Now, there are a couple of elements that are involved with that, but the biggest, to me, element of Cosmic Encounter is negotiations. And we'll talk about that now. Let's talk about presentation. The game looks good. It really does look good. I love the Cosmic Encounter ships. I love this harder plastic, clear, translucent ships, even if they went with Auburn and Florida colors, which is just unfortunate as an Alabama fan. But they look good. Those clear plastic ships just look good on the table. The planets look good. The art on each planet is just, it's funny, it's quirky, it's good. It's very, very good. I like the more cartoony style in this version of each of the aliens, even though I prefer the original, and I can see why the downside is that art takes just forever to do that kind of photorealistic alien style that they were doing. But this cartoonier take of the older aliens, I really like. I think it's funny, but also it's almost like how Pokemon characters from the original Pokemon don't look like Pokemon anymore. Like they don't look like the same sort of thing. There's almost like a shift there. It's not quite as drastic as that, but the aliens that you get in the ones that you play as versus the ones you ally with, they do have a certain look that's a little bit different, but they also are very reminiscent of the original style of Cosmic Encounter art. So presentation, the game looks good, your cards look good, everything looks like a Cosmic Encounter game. Now, that brings us to gameplay, which is where we really need to dive into this question of the distillation process. What is the essence of Cosmic Encounter? To you, it might be that necessary, I'm going to play this card, you're going to play that card, and I'm going to zap that card, you're going to zap that card, and I'm going to do this, this, and this, right? And that fun sort of like back and forth tense battle between 2 people. Or is it the negotiation tactics? Hey, do you want to ally with me? Or no, you can't ally with me because you're going to win the game if you do, or you're going to be too powerful, or your power is too good. Or it's like, hey, can somebody zap that? Please zap that card. Okay, what about you? Can you zap it? So that's really the question for me is, what is the most important part? Now, for me, it is the negotiation. It is the communication. It is the table fun and just silliness and zaniness. I don't like take that games. And to be fair, Cosmic Encounter Duel is not a take that game. Don't hear me say that. But I don't typically like games that are like, I'm going to play this card and be like, no, you're not, because I'm doing this. But Cosmic Encounter pulls it off in such a way that it just works and it's fun and zany. In fact, I would say that the player count of Cosmic Encounter, the full version, should be 6 or more, honestly. I never want to play it at 3, even though it's allowed at 3. I never really want to play it at 4. 5's okay, but 6 is where you hit that sweet spot if you've got plenty of people to ally with and fight with. Whereas in a 2-player version, you lose all of that. That's all gone. And I get it that that's not supposed to be there, but the game is called Cosmic Encounter Duel. So it's going to get strapped with some of that criticism no matter what, because of the name alone. Now granted, push aside Cosmic Encounter the game for a second and let's work on this one as its own universe and its own rules that it's built for a second. It does work. Like, it works really well, actually. It's tight. The combat is simple in a good way. It's easy to understand, and there still is a lot of back and forth of power struggles and power shifts in the middle of a fight. So if you're able to blot out in your mind for a minute, wait a minute, Cosmic Encounter, isn't that the one that Tom always talks about where people sit around and yell and have fun and laugh at each other? And if you put all that out of your mind for a minute and think, wait a minute, let's talk about the core mechanics of the game. Cosmic Encounter Duel still delivers a lot of those core mechanics when it comes to fighting, when it comes to playing and strategizing the cards you need to play. I really like the little tactics tokens that you play, one way or the other. To either kill ships or defend your ships. That actually reminds me of Kemet a little bit. The combat is very similar to Kemet when it comes to that. And so the combat system is actually better in this, to me, than the original Cosmic Encounter. You have a better fight system with choosing the plan cards, and your ships aren't actual numbers out there. They're more to get that ship advantage, and that ship advantage can really shift things in your favor if you're able to take that, and that really depends on how smart you play your tactics tokens. And so the combat has not been distilled. It's actually been expanded, and it's been expanded for the better, in my opinion. So here's the summary of this review. Summary of final thoughts, because I'll put a time code down below so you can get straight to this part if you want to, because we kind of meandered our way through that for a little bit. But ideally, if you are coming at this thinking I'm going to get the Cosmic Encounter experience distilled down, you're not going to do that. You're not going to get the Cosmic Encounter experience. You're going to get a nice dueling, fighting, alien game experience based on the Cosmic Encounter universe, but stripping away all negotiation tactics. Whereas you're going to get a better fighting system because of the things that have been added and the way the combat system has been streamlined using these tactics. Now, yes, alien powers are there. Yes, the ones you can ally with are there. Whatever it is, the ones you can ally with from the old games are there. That does add a lot of spice. Sometimes it's frustrating, though, because you can only be mad at one person. So think about that. But Cosmic Encounter Duel, it's okay. For what it is, it's great. For being part of Cosmic Encounter, it doesn't deliver the Cosmic Encounter feel that I want. It's a 5.5, it's a 6 for me, because the game is a good game. It's a good duel game, but in my mind, I have a hard time mental block with Cosmic Encounter being named that and not wanting to do the, oh, are you going to ally, blah, 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 all that sort of card zappy fun stuff. So that is kind of the Cosmic Encounter Duel in a nutshell. I'm Bryan Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, etc. at Dice Tower Bryan. Until next time, we'll see you. Oh, daily chat tonight. Come hang out with me.